There's a reason they call it the World Wide Web. To say that we aren't already on a technologically controlled smart grid is kind of silly. The smart grid, the Internet of Things, that's all already here. I don't believe any of these technologies, like the internet, GPS, computers, any of it ever came to us without backdoors already installed. These technologies have always been, from the onset, weaponized. They're products of the military. Facebook's always been weaponized too, always gleaning our data, always an experiment. In fact, Facebook admittedly experimented on 700,000 of its users back in 2012 to see if they could alter people's emotions and moods based on what they loaded the person's wall with. They found that emotional states can be transferred to others via emotional contagion, leading people to experience the same emotions without their awareness. They found out they can do this across the board. And when you sign up for Facebook, somewhere buried deep in the user agreement, you give consent to be experimented on by Facebook without them specifically telling you first what they're doing. But the first time that we were made aware that the military-industrial complex was doing a drill on us involving large swaths of the population across several states, specifically run by artificial intelligence, was during Jadehelm 2015. So we know that we're being experimented on with quantum computers and artificial intelligence. This is a fact. And when you think about the reality you're looking at today, what we're being presented with, you realize it's not such a crazy leap to wonder if that might not explain some of the weirder things that are going on, not just in our country, but across the world. Now, that having been said, you've probably heard at this point about all of these creepy clown sightings.
Phenomenon that's sweeping the country right now. Creepy clowns are being spotted from coast to coast.
Remember when clowns were associated with fun? Well, tonight, parents all across the metro are on edge because of creepy clown threats.
The police departments are taking action after new threats, and communities are also rethinking how they celebrate Halloween.
The Nation are reporting a large number of clown sightings.
Reading schools have been closed now, and it's because of a threat to the school on homecoming day, and it's another clown threat.
Creepy clowns running around cemeteries and city streets scaring people. There have been reports around the country, and now here in Chicago too.
It's unbelievable how a cheap mask like this one can cause such commotion. But it is, and it's creeping people out so much so that police are stepping in.
5290 Cambridge got a report that a student saw a clown across the street and the clown grabbed her, attempted to kidnap her.
Lumberton police tell us officers are investigating a report of a man in a clown suit attacking a woman early this morning.
You can now find a clown sighting in almost every city.
It's this photo of a clown in City Park.
I don't think it's funny. I don't think as adults we should be dressing up as clowns scaring kids.
You will notice that a lot of these threats involve social media, and specifically Facebook and Twitter.
They are filling your social media feed. Creepy clown sightings.
Police are sending out a social media warning tonight. People dressing up as clowns here in Kern County sending creepy messages just like this one.
Well, districts say they're investigating threatening and kind of creepy clown messages on social media, even some vandalism.
Breaking news, clown threats are made against Palm Beach County schools.
Tonight, he's still out there using Facebook to scare others.
The FBI in Baltimore is investigating threats made against city schools. Several clown-related threats made on social media led one school in Prince George's County to close yesterday.
School security has spent countless hours investigating these reports, and
just yesterday, police in Fresno made an arrest after threats were made to multiple schools by someone posing as a clown online.
Bakersfield Police is investigating reports of threats posted on social media by people in clown costumes.
They're posting officers at every school today just to ensure that there are no issues.
And I did see some of these reports coming out here and there over the last couple of weeks, but I pretty much shrugged it off and rolled my eyes. It's another hoax, or it's a viral movie campaign gone wrong, or something like that. But now it's gotten to the point that sightings are in 10 states. People have been threatened, kids chased from bus stops, or women chased into their homes by creepy clowns.
Sorry, name up. Hi, I just got home from work and got out of my car, and I have heard so much about this, I didn't even know this was actually true, but I just got chased by a clown up into my door of my apartment. Okay, where are you?
A woman was attacked by a clown, and a kid was even stabbed to death by a guy in a clown mask.
According to Fox 43, this clown fatally stabbed 16-year-old Christian Torres.
So this is becoming a pretty serious situation. And there was even a story I saw where a woman was just out walking her dog and a creepy guy in a white and red clown suit stepped out from behind a tree and just was eerily, silently watching her. That kind of creepy, just creepy clowns watching people. It's, I mean, of all the things that you would think would happen in real life, that's probably not one of the things that you would have on your list of things you would have seen this year. And other than several hoax threats against schools that are usually by school kids at the schools, the creepiest clown sightings, the ones involving threats like clowns trying to lure kids into the woods in South Carolina.
There have been several reports of suspicious characters dressed like clowns, white face paint and all, flashing green lasers and enticing kids with large amounts of money.
It scares me.
Or a clown carrying a machete and threatening people with it in Mississippi, or the woman who was chased into her house in Ohio and called 911, or the other woman in Ohio who was attacked by a man in a clown suit, or the kid in Pennsylvania, the 10th grader who was stabbed, and the dozens, if not hundreds by now, of other 911 calls across the country from Virginia to Florida. All of these witnesses seeing these creepy clowns doing all this stuff. None of the creepy clowns, the ones that have not been proven to be hoaxes by little kids, or mainly just threats on Facebook, none of the creepy clowns have been apprehended by police. Sightings continue to occur on a daily basis, and today it's gotten to the point that a school near me was actually put on lockdown after a clown sighting. I'm not kidding. I wish I was.
A nationwide scare has made its way to Central Texas. All across the country, police are investigating reports of creepy clowns threatening people, schools, and businesses. Today, several schools in our area received similar threats.
But I'm not. Do you know how I know that? Is it because I just keep track of creepy clown sightings in my area? No, because I don't have cable in my house and I don't watch television. The reason I know is because after this happened, the school in our area sent out a robotic call to our town, warning us all about clowns.
He is aware of the internet hoax involving threats against schools by people dressed as clowns. At this time, the police department has not received any specific credible threat nor any actual clown sightings, but we continue to be vigilant and monitor the issue. We especially want to thank all of you for being diligent and reporting activity that you find suspicious. If you have information or need to report something, please call 911.
What the actual okay? I recorded it because I wanted to be able to prove to someone later that I actually heard that and it wasn't just in my mind and I'm losing my sanity. So if this was a viral movie campaign, it's gone bad now. The thing is getting such bad press. People are actually getting hurt. Someone died. It's gone off the tracks. I mean, we're talking huge civil lawsuits at this point. If you're the movie behind this, I don't know that they would let this go this long without coming out and saying this is all a hoax. I mean, are they all just copycats? That was another thing that someone said, this is all just copycat hoaxes. But that doesn't really make sense either. I mean, how many things happen that people just copycat? You know, even Columbine, they said there's some school shootings that were copycatted. There was a few, but you're talking about dozens of sightings now, if not over 100, multiple states across the country.
You can now find a clown sighting in almost every city.
Witnesses everywhere. There's something else that's going on here. There's a coordination that's being suggested by this. But again, clowns, I mean, why clowns? I mean, everyone's creeped out by clowns. I mean, there's something to clowns that's very fundamental, because they've done studies and they've found that children universally hate clowns. Why do we even have clowns, honestly, when so many kids hate them? Specifically, if you were an 80s kid like me, or you were born in the 70s when serial killer John Wayne Gacy, he was daylighting as a clown called Pogo, but he also was found guilty of sexually assaulting and murdering more than 35 young men in the Chicago area. There were all those movies that came out in the time period, things like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Poltergeist and Stephen King's It and John Carpenter's Halloween with the Mike Myers. He did that creepy thing where he just appeared and stood there and stared silently at people. that kind of thing. We've been programmed to really be afraid of creepy clowns. Not just clowns in general, but creepy, staring, silent, creepy clowns. I mean, that's almost become like an archaic symbol of scary. I think most of us could agree at this point that not just clowns, but creepy clowns have become a universal symbol of fear. I mean, scary clowns are scarier than, in my opinion, werewolves or vampires or mummies or any Frankenstein's monster or any of that. Creepy clowns, I mean, that's way up the list. What does any of this have to do with AI, you're probably asking at this point, and I would almost be asking myself the same thing, but I feel like this clown thing is a psyop. I feel like it's an experiment. It makes the most sense to me as an explanation of what could be behind such a strangely coordinated thing. I'm just speculating, of course, but I mean, we're just having a conversation here after all, but the widespread nature of this bizarre threat of creepy clowns everywhere, to the point that schools are calling up residents in towns and forewarning them to be vigilant of creepy clowns in the area and to call cops if they see one. It just seems like some kind of test. What are they trying to gauge with that? I don't know. Public reaction? How widespread the reaction is? How many people see something and say something? How does law enforcement or the school react to it? I mean, it's almost like they're running a giant civil defense exercise without telling everyone it's a civil defense exercise. Or creepier still, our fear. Maybe they're testing that out. I don't know, you start going down that road, it just gets creepier and creepier, and it isn't even because of the clowns anymore.
This is scary.
So, creepy clown sightings coming in on a daily basis in random cities and towns across the country.
People have spotted clowns in Blaine,
Plymouth, Columbia Heights, Woodbury, Richfield, St. Paul Park, Shakopee, and Hopkins.
And I think what's happening is just too big to be explained away by some giant copycat hoax. I wonder if ultimately they're not calibrating their AI based on us.
They are filling your social media feed. Creepy clown sightings.
Clown sighting in almost every city. Got chased by a clown.
This is scary.
I mean, we know they're testing artificial intelligence on the public. That's admitted. So, are the creepy clowns another experiment? Experience the same emotions without their awareness. They found out they can do this across the board. And when you sign up for Facebook, somewhere buried deep in the user agreement, you give consent to be experimented on by Facebook without them specifically telling you first what they're doing. But the first time that we were made aware that the military-industrial complex was doing a drill on us involving large swaths of the population across several states, specifically recognized their products of the military. Facebook's always been weaponized too, always gleaning our data, always an experiment. In fact, Facebook admittedly experimented on 700,000 of its users back in 2012 to see if they could alter people's emotions and moods based on what they loaded the person's wall with. They found that emotional states can be transferred to others via emotional contagion, leading people to experience. There's a reason they call it the World Wide Web. To say that we aren't already on a technologically controlled smart grid is kind of silly. The smart grid, the Internet of Things, that's all already here. I don't believe any of these technologies, like the internet, GPS, computers, any of it ever came to us without backdoors already installed. These technologies have always been, from the onset, weapon run by artificial intelligence was during Jadehelm 2015. So we know that we're being experimented on with quantum computers and artificial intelligence. This is a fact. And when you think about the reality you're looking at today, what we're being presented with, you realize it's not such a crazy leap to wonder if that might not explain some of the weirder things that are going on, not just in our country, but across the world. Now, that having been said, you've probably heard at this point about all of these creepy clown sightings.
Phenomenon that's sweeping the country right now. Creepy clowns are being spotted from coast to coast.
Remember when clowns were associated with fun? Well, tonight, parents all across the metro are on edge because of creepy clown threats.
And the police departments are taking action after new threats.